Do you have the only coaching staff with two former Broncos head coaches?
Interesting. There's a good one. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that one.
You
There's
don't
a,
have a special text chain like
no,
former
no,
Bronx?
no. Still talk to all of them though. I mean, I talked to VJ this week. It was his birthday last week, so I texted him and wished him a happy birthday. But no,
We know, obviously, with A-Shane, the speed is unquestioned. Do you have a feel yet for his instinctiveness as a runner?
Well, I think we saw that early on. I mean, he's got vision and he's got explosiveness and he has burst. And I think he's a complete back. I think he can do it all, but he has those things, and we'll be anxious to see him utilize some of those.
Eric, I'll ask you what I asked Frank a few minutes ago. What impressed you most about Raheem and his performance the other night, even at age 31, and the burst he showed on that long run, for example?
I don't know that it's the age that's the most impressive thing. I just think it's his competitiveness, and that the fact that he still wants to go and compete and work and be out there with those guys. It's that opportunity that he steps up to take advantage of, and I think that's how he's played as long as he has. And he's had bumps early in his career, and he's doing well now, and we're happy to have him. But I think it's his competitiveness that he shows up with. He wants to be good.
Were you here his first go
I
around?
was not. No, this is my first time. Last year was my first year working with him.
So you weren't responsible for cutting a.
Not him.
We saw Alec Ingold in the red medical jersey throughout most of camp, and now he's had a full off season and he's really productive for the first two games. How is the second year for a player who's so unique in terms of his usage benefit you guys as an offense?
Well, it's just what you said. He has a unique skill set. I mean, Alec first of all, he's incredibly intelligent. He's passionate about the game. He wants to be utilized in as many ways as we'll try to utilize him. He'll try everything. And we put him in a lot of different places, and we're still sorting out, what those things are that he can do. And he's done more and more things. That just gives us a huge advantage, too, because the defense has to prepare for all those things.
Eric, I've got a general football question for you. You were with Denver in 2015 with the no-fly zone. That was a team where Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler quarterbacked. I think they had 19 touchdowns, 23 interceptions that season. You guys win the Super Bowl. My question is, could a team built like that win a Super Bowl nowadays, kind of on defense and run game?
Yeah. I think any team has a chance to win a Super Bowl that's committed to the goal and they do what's best for them. I mean, I don't know that there's one recipe as a way to win it. That was a unique team for us. There was a lot of really, really good players, veteran leadership on that. We had some good young players on the team. But I think it's a group of people coming together and focusing on a goal and then figuring out a way to achieve that goal. Is there one recipe that does it? I'm not sure of that. I've been to two of those games and was fortunate enough to be part of winning one of them. And I just think that it's the journey, it's the group of men that you have and how they work together through the ups and the downs of an NFL season, because there's always ups and downs. There's always things that happen in there. And that's the challenge that we have as coaches, as an organization, and as a team, that we've got to come together and be able to ride those ebbs and flows and push through all those things and figure out what gives us that best chance.
Eric, you've worked for a lot of head coaches. I'm sorry, Jim. You worked for a lot of head coaches. The way that Mike likes his position coaches to suggest things or convey things to him, ideas that you have for a particular week's game plan, how is that different from other head coaches in terms of how he wants you to be involved as position coaches and how the information is conveyed to him?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as you said, I've worked for a lot of different coordinators and head coaches. I think it's always different. And so as a position coach, you're trying to figure out, how to be, how to help the coordinator and the head coach again, come up with the game plan that we need. There's suggestions that we see. There's things that they see. There's ideas from everybody. All of us are floating ideas down the hall. We're making adjustments. I mean, you go down there, there's paper down there with red pens on it because we're saying, no, the back needs to be here. The receiver needs this split. The tight end needs to widen out here. The quarterback needs to look in this progression. That's what we do that's what we're doing all the time. Again, we're adjusting these things. And how it happens is it happens differently for every group of people and how they come together. And that's what's unique about it. It's not just cut and paste where, hey, I went from here and it goes here and this is the exact schedule, this is the time that you do it and this is how you do it. It changes. And I think that's what we ask our players to do. Our players have to adapt game to game versus different opponents. And as coaches, when we go into a new environment, a new situation, we have to adapt. And that's part of the challenge of it, and that's one of the really neat things too, because you meet other people, you see how other people do things, and again, there's not much like I was talking about a moment ago. I don't know that there's one right way to do it. It's the right way for this group of people at this time, and that's what we're trying to find.
Is it fun with Mike though, because he's such a funny, easygoing guy? Is that process enjoyable on Mondays and Tuesdays with you, with Mike and the other position coaches?
Yeah, because we love coaching football. Of course, the process is awesome, because we're trying to find these things and then give them to the players, and we go down and get the players to execute something, to make something very abstract on a board with some Sharpie markers, and then have people actually accomplish it and execute it on a Sunday. That's a great feeling.
Has a lot of different motion. The offense has a lot of different motions, and one of the ones that I've kind of noticed maybe from last year and this year is in the backfield, the running backs kind of motioning out but remaining in the backfield. I'm just curious, what does that do for the running backs or maybe the offense? Or just, it seems kind of insignificant, but it has to be significant if you guys are doing it.
Good. I'm glad it seems insignificant. Because then we're doing it and it's insignificant. I love that. There's many different reasons for it. There's different things that we're doing. It's usually to try to gain an advantage of some kind. And what that is, it depends on the play, run play, pass play, route. Sometimes it's different things, but really it's trying to gain everything that we're doing formationally, movement, play, is trying to gain an advantage for us. And it doesn't matter if it's a blocking scheme, if it's a motion, if it's a change of strength, a wide receiver, anything. We're always trying to gain an advantage. We think there's a way for us to be able to tweak with something to get an advantage.
Well, I mean, does the motion that you guys do, does it resemble anything? Like, people have compared it to, like, CFL with the running starts. Like, does it remind you of anything?
That one goes forward, though.
Yeah, but the way with Tyreek, you might as well be running forward, right?
No. We can't go forward. That's illegal. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. We follow the rules on that part of it. I think what we're trying to develop here, and what Mike is passionate about and what he's building and his vision for this offense, is to do something that's different and unique from what everybody else is doing. And I think we're staying on that path and that goal, trying to do that. Our motions are obviously a critical part of it because we do it a lot and we motion a lot of different people, but those things are all part of what we're trying to do to make ourselves different, our offense unique, our offense very difficult to defend, and that's the goal at the end of the day.
I'm sure you work very closely with Butch Berry, running back O-line. What stands out about him that you think is quite good or maybe even a little unique?
Well, I think the thing that stands out is that he's very intelligent, he's very knowledgeable about the offensive line group, and he's incredibly passionate about coaching that group. And I hope that that's the same thing that if you asked him about me, he would say the same thing, because that's what we want. That's the goal here, is we want great people here, great coaches that want to be passionate about coaching in our groups and then putting this whole thing together.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, it seems like to my amateur eye watching the offensive line, they're working as a singular unit, passing off games and just kind of communicating things well. And then that includes the running back and pass pro, who seems to me always being able to find the right block to make in the games on Sunday. How do you guys develop the relationship between running back and pass pro working alongside the offensive line?
Well, I mean, on Tuesdays, Butch and I spend probably a good hour and a half to 2 hours going through every pressure that we can find, talking through our rules, what we want to do, why, what the adjustments would be, how the offensive line is affected by certain things, how the back is affected by certain things. And then we come together and kind of sort out our rules for the week based on that meeting. And that's how we get on the same page doing it. And then we walk through things as a group on the field, and then we practice them, and we give the backs reps and the line. But we have to do those. It's part to the whole. You know, you take parts of it and then you put it together a little bit more at a time, and then we got to get it executed.
You were talking about the motion a little bit ago and joking about the CFL, but we obviously see the final version of it. Can you maybe take me through the intricacies of teaching how to do motion correctly and effectively, maybe for your backs and your players?
I'm not going to take you through that.
See, that
Yeah.
goes into that.
I think there's nuances to every play. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how to get an advantage, whether that's moving somebody, whether that's stepping a certain way, whether that's blocking down, whether that's maybe influencing somebody. There's all kinds of different things. The motions are a certain part of that. They're not all exactly the same. But that's why the players are in meetings. That's why we're talking to them, because there are little subtle differences, nuances of what happens on all these things. And that's what our advantage is, you know, and so I'm not being avoiding when I'm telling you not what it is, but at the end of the day, that is our advantage, that it's not easy to decipher what and how we're doing things.
Absolutely.
Have you? Oh my bad. Do you have a phone?
Yeah, but you can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
In that same token, this is obviously year 2 of this scheme. How have you seen maybe defenses show you different looks and try to maybe take away what they may consider tendencies?
Yeah, with the motions. Well, hopefully we're ever evolving too. So if we're staying the same and then they're able to counter what we did last year, that's why we're trying to continually evolve, change, move things, get better, and do things differently, so that whatever they're planning on what they saw last year, they're hopefully seeing different versions or variations of it this year to move forward.
Eric, curious, with as much as we've seen Eric Ezukama in the backfield and take carries, how much have you directly worked with him to try to get him up to speed and how to play in the backfield?
Well, I mean, if there's something where he's in the backfield that is a running back type mechanic, then I'll grab him and we'll talk about alignment, stance, how he's going to get the ball, whatever it is. I mean, we all do that. I'll talk with Wes about it, and Wes will emphasize it in his meeting because he's not in my meeting necessarily. And then when I see him on something, I'll grab him. Hey, don't forget about this. Remember to do this, do that. So it's a whole group of us that are working with it. I mean, Wes will come and ask me, hey, where does he align on this in the backfield? And we shared, hey, he's this deep, he's this wide, it's whatever it is.
How has he picked it up?
Eric?
Yes.
Yeah, he's done good. I mean, you know, you start those things going forward, and then it builds as it goes. And so we started doing it a little bit, and we'll see where it goes.